Welcome back to the deep dive. We are doing something a little bit different today.
We are.
Usually we take a wide view of a specific topic, a single technology or a big trend. But today we are zooming in on a very specific moment in time.
Yeah.
We are sifting through the random technical news you can possibly use newsletter, straight from the desk of Andrew Kagan.
It's a bit of an experiment, isn't it? Instead of a polished narrative where we connect all the dots for you up front, we're looking at the raw feed, the stack of papers on the desk, so to speak.
Exactly.
And it is a fascinating snapshot because today is what? February 19, 2026.
And it feels like a really distinct moment in the industry. We aren't just talking about vague AI advancements anymore. We're looking at very specific, very granular changes. I mean, the sources today, they range from literal robot arms moving magnetic tapes in a cold storage facility to AI agents that are learning to read Greek just to find stolen passwords.
It really is a state of the union for the practical technologist. The goal here isn't to hype up the next big thing that might happen in, 10 years.
Right.
The mission of this deep dive is to filter the noise and find the tools, the exams, and the security patches that are changing how you do your job this week.
Yeah.
We're going to touch on 8 specific pillars, from Azure and DevOps all the way to security and AI.
So let's unpack this. We have a lot of ground to cover. I think we should start with what everyone is talking about, the agentic web.
Good place to start.
It feels like every week there's a new shift, but something specific happened with VS Code recently that caught my eye. They're calling it the Let It Cook update.
Let it cook.
Yeah.
It's a catchy name, a bit meme-heavy, but the technical implication is actually quite serious.
Oh, yeah.
We are seeing a fundamental shift in our integrated development environments. I mean, VS Code isn't just a text editor anymore. It is becoming a multi-agent command center.
Right. And what stood out to me in the notes was this concept of agent steering and hooks. Because usually, you prompt an AI, it gives you code and you paste it, or maybe it runs for a bit and gets confused. But this is different.
It is. The idea of hooks is that you can run specific scripts at specific points in the agent's lifecycle. Think of it like event handlers, but for your AI assistant.
Okay, I see.
You can set a hook to run a linter or, say, auto-commit code right at the end of turn or start of turn.
That is huge for flow.
Yeah.
So instead of me having to babysit the agent and check its work every 30 seconds, I can just set a rule that says, hey, if you finish a task, go run the unit test.
Exactly. It automates the verification. And the timing is perfect because today, February 19th, is actually Agent Sessions Day for VS Code.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It signals that we're moving from chat, where you talk to the bot T sessions, where the bot goes off and, well, it works for you.
But if we zoom out a bit, this VS Code update is just one piece of a much larger puzzle, right? We have a fascinating paper from Google DeepMind in the stack that proposes a framework for what they call intelligent delegation.
It sounds a bit more heavy-duty.
It does. What? What is the core idea there?
Well, the problem they're trying to solve is trust. If you have an AI agent hiring another AI agent to do a task, how do you know it did a good job?
Good question.
So DeepMind is arguing we need to move beyond just splitting tasks up. We need contract-first decomposition.
Contract-first decomposition. That sounds like something a lawyer would say.
It does, but it's brilliant. It means an agent shouldn't assign a task unless the outcome can be verified. Like, don't just say write code. Say write code that passes this specific unit test or solve this math problem and provide the mathematical proof.
So it's about building a chain of accountability from the get-go.
Exactly. It is the only way we move from cute chatbots to a secure agentic web where systems can actually do work for us without constant human intervention.
Speaking of doing work without babysitting, I want to shift gears to the data and analytics pillar. There was a very practical headache mentioned that I think every developer listening has dealt with.
Let me guess. The Christoph left the company and now the pipeline is broken problem.
You got it.
Ah, yes. The classic dependency on personal user accounts. We saw a great update regarding Microsoft Fabric this week that addresses this, highlighted by Alexei Partana.
Yeah, break that down for us. The issue is item ownership, right?
Correct. You build a pipeline in Fabric, and essentially you own it. If you change your password, or if you leave the company and your account is disabled, the schedule fails. The pipeline just stops.
Which is a nightmare in production. You don't want your enterprise data strategy relying on whether or not Christoph remembered to update his credentials.
Precisely. The fix here is using service principals, essentially technical identities, to run these deployment pipelines.
So instead of host speaker's account running the mission-critical data job, it's robot account 1,
Exactly. It decouples the process from the person. It seems like a small administrative tweak, but for anyone managing enterprise data, it is the difference between a peaceful weekend and a 3 a.m. panic call.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move from building things to protecting them. We have a segment here we are calling The Shield and the Sword, covering security, compliance, and privacy. And I want to start with the sword offensive security.
This is where we look at Brutus.
Brutus. Great name for an offensive tool. This is an open source credential testing tool, right?
It is, and it's written in pure Go, which is significant because it ships as a single binary. No dependency headaches, no pip install failures. You just drop it and run it.
And what makes it nasty or effective, depending on which side you're on, is that it comes preloaded with ammunition.
Right. It includes embedded SSH bad key testing. It has keys from vendors like F5, Barracuda, and others built right into the binary, so it doesn't just guess passwords. It tries known compromised keys from major vendors automatically.
That is terrifyingly efficient. So that's the sword. Now let's talk about the shield. We have some news about Microsoft Purview's Data Security Investigations, or DSI.
This is the counterbalance. DSI is leveraging AI to do deep content analysis. And the magic here isn't just matching keywords, it's semantic understanding.
The example in the source material was just wild. Project Obsidian.
Yes. So imagine you're investigating a leak about a secret acquisition called Project Obsidian. A traditional search might look for the word obsidian.
Sure.
But DSI found a document that discussed the acquisition details in Arabic.
And it didn't even have the word obsidian in English.
No, but the AI understood the context of the document, that it was discussing the secret deal regardless of the language. There was another case where it found a password hidden in a Greek document.
Wait. So the AI is reading Greek, realizing this string of characters looks like a password, and flagging it.
Correct. A keyword search fails there every single time.
Yeah.
But AI semantic analysis succeeds because it understands the intent and the meaning of the content, not just the characters.
That is a game changer for investigations. Because bad actors, or even just careless employees, don't always use the keywords you expect.
It also connects to how we visualize these threats. We saw mention of the Sentinel graph.
Yeah.
Instead of looking at rows of logs, which is how we've done security for 20 years, it builds a visual attack radius.
I love a good visualization. So how does that work?
It visually connects the dots. So if the device is compromised, the graph shows you, okay, this device is owned by Sam. Sam's cookie was stolen. That cookie grants access to these 4 specific key vaults. You see the blast radius instantly rather than having to query for it.
That makes the threat so much more tangible. Okay, let's slide down the stack a little bit to infrastructure, Azure, and DevOps. There is an interesting update regarding the Azure SRE agent.
This is a really nerdy but important detail for site reliability engineers. It's about how we investigate resources in private networks securely.
And it involves getting rid of secrets, right? I feel like get rid of secrets is the theme of 2026.
It really is. The shift here is towards easy auth. Instead of managing function keys, which are just long passwords that can leak, the Python tool uses a managed identity token.
So the tool says, hi, I am the SRE agent, and Azure says, I know you, here's a token, and it validates it against the app registration.
Exactly. The token rotates automatically. It's never stored in code. It's safer, cleaner, and it eliminates that, oops, I committed the API key to GitHub risk.
Which, let's be honest, happens way more than anyone wants to admit. Now, on the lighter side of infrastructure, I saw something called the Store CLI.
Yes, this is for the power users who are allergic to using a mouse.
That's me. I want to feel like a hacker, even when I'm just installing Spotify.
Well, now you can. It's a command line interface for the Microsoft Store on Windows 11. It's similar to Wing It, but specifically optimized for store apps.
So you can just...
You can search, install, and update apps entirely from the terminal.
That is actually really useful for setting up a new machine. You just script it out, run one command, go get coffee.
Efficiency is the name of the game. And speaking of efficiency and administration, we have to touch on the Windows Admin Center. There's a bit of an architectural split happening there.
Yeah, I saw this. Administration mode versus virtualization mode. What does that really mean for the average admin?
It's about state. Administration mode is stateless. It's lighter, meant for general server admin. Virtualization mode is stateful and heavy on caching. It's designed specifically for Hyper-V management, where you need to load a lot of object data and keep it ready.
So choose your fighter based on what you're managing. If you're wrangling VMs, go with virtualization mode.
Exactly. It's about optimizing the tool for the workload.
Okay, segment 4. This is the ecosystem grab bag covering Microsoft 365, Power Platform, and Learning. And I have to start with my favorite story from this entire stack,
I think I know which one.
the Wally robot in OneDrive.
This came from the Sync Up podcast. It's a fascinating look behind the curtain of the cloud.
We tend to think of the cloud as these silent, blinking SSDs, but for the OneDrive file archive, which is their cold storage solution, it is literally magnetic tapes.
Magnetic tape is still the king of density and cost for cold storage. But the cool part is the automation. They described it like a robot likened to Wall-E inside the Azure data center.
So when I click Restore on a file I archived 5 years ago, a literal robot arm wakes up, zooms down an aisle, grabs a tape cartridge, and shoves it into a reader.
That is exactly what happens. That is why there is a restore time. They quote up to 24 hours, though it's often faster. But that physical movement of media is why it's so cheap to store petabytes of data there.
Wow, and there's a catch, right? A 7-day window?
Yes. If you archive the wrong file, you have a 7-day grace period to reactivate it instantly before it gets carted off by the robot. After that, you're waiting for the tape drive.
I just love that the cloud has mechanical parts. It grounds the whole concept. Now, moving to the Power Platform, there is a critical update for developers called Server Logic.
This addresses the freshness problem. By default, systems like Dataverse use caching to speed things up. But sometimes, speed is less important than accuracy.
Right, if I'm checking inventory for a high-value sale, I need to know the number right now, not the number from 5 minutes ago.
Exactly. This update allows developers to explicitly bypass the server-side cache. You're telling the system, ignore what you think you know, go check the database for the absolute latest value. It's essential for those business-critical workflows.
It's the trust but verify of database queries. And finally, for our listeners who are looking to level up their careers, there is some news on the certification front. The CKA Certified Kubernetes Administrator exam has changed for 2026.
This is a big shift for test takers. It used to be that you had a local terminal. Now it is strictly a remote Ubuntu desktop.
Oh, that changes the muscle memory. No more relying on your own browser shortcuts or your own local tools.
Correct. You are working inside a remote environment, and the content is shifted too. Troubleshooting is now weighted at 30% of the exam.
That is huge.
It emphasizes practical repair skills over just memorization. They don't care if you can memorize a YAML file. They want to know if you can fix a broken cluster when the pressure's on.
Which, honestly, is what makes a good admin in the real world. So, looking at this whole stack from February 19, 2026, what's the takeaway?
The speed is just relentless. I mean, we have robots moving physical tapes, AI agents reading Greek to find security leaks, and SREs moving from secrets to identities. The underlying theme is automation and verification.
It feels like we're moving from doing the work to managing the things that do the work.
That is the perfect way to put it. And that brings me to the provocation I want to leave with the listener today.
Let's hear it.
Go back to that DeepMind concept of delegation. We're building agents that hire other agents. We're building pipelines that run on service principles. We're trusting the machine more and more. The question is, do you have the contracts in place to verify their work?
Ooh.
Or are you just trusting the black box because it's convenient?
Are we verifying or are we just hoping? That
Right.
is a question to chew on.
It's indeed.
A huge thank you to Andrew Kagan for the newsletter fodder that powered this deep dive. And thank you to you, the listener, for tuning in. We encourage you to pick one of these topics, maybe check your own hard-coded secrets, or go read up on that DeepMind paper and go deep this week.
Knowledge is only power if you apply it.
See you in the next deep dive.